Hello everyone. So we're going to start our post-study work, Graduate Route Visa live stream in 1 minute. Okay, so welcome to join Korea Interactive Post-Study Work, Graduate Route Visa live stream. So let's just briefly going through about the outline today. So first, we will further understand about the UK new visa system to further understand what is the post-study work visa and also other types of the visa that are available in the UK at the moment. Then secondly, we will go through about the postgraduate route visa in further details, such as what this visa involved and what you can do with this visa, and how to apply for the post-study work visa. Then we will compare the post-study work visa, so the graduate route visa job opportunities to the skilled worker type visas job opportunities. Then we will give you a brief plan about how you use this 2-year opportunity to maximize your job opportunities and plan your career in the UK. Then we will briefly going through how Korea Interactive and UK can help. Then we will go to the Q&A session. So basically you can comment on the live stream to let me know what kind of the questions you have in regards to this visa. But definitely after the full session, if you have any questions, you can contact us through the contact method we provide to you. Okay, so let's go to the first part of today's session. So let's further understand the visa systems in the UK at the moment. So as we know, for the UK visa, so you will have, for example, like the student type visa, the work visa, the investing visa, and certain other types of visa to allow you to stay in the UK. So basically, for the study type visa will be the student visa. So generally, it's Tier 4 student visa. Normally, you are on the general visa, which allow you to work in the UK for normally maximum 20 hours per week. And the second type of the visa would be the work visa. So the work visa will involve with, for example, like the long-term work visa called skilled worker type visa, which was mainly changed by 1st December last year. So basically, if you are applying for, let's say, the 5-year route to apply for the permanent resident in the UK, you should go for the skilled worker type visa. And the second type of the work visa in the UK will be the graduate route visa, which will be fully implemented by 1st July of this year. So basically in 2021. We will go through about the details of the post-study work visa in further details later on. And the third type of the work visa would be short-term work visa. So basically we call it internship visa or the youth mobility visa. So it basically belongs to the Tier 5 range. Lastly, what you can work under the visa should be for example, like the innovator visa. So previously, innovator visa and the startup visa, it actually categorized into the type of the visa that you can work or doing business in the UK. And alternatively, you can also follow the global talent route. So basically, it's the talent visas in the UK. So all these types of the visas shortlisting on this page will allow you to work in the UK. But they have certain restrictions, so you need to be aware of what the terms and the type of the visa you belonging to. Kind of like you need to follow the rules just follow the rules so that you can follow the typical rights so that you can work in the UK to improve your work experience. And typically you need to be aware of is that the new graduate route visa and its relations in relation to the skilled worker type visa. So definitely we will go through the details today. If you want to gain some further details about post-study work visa, you can always contact us. Okay, so we'll go through about the details of post-study work visa. So its officially name is actually called graduate route visa. So it was introduced back to 11 September 2019. So the government released the information that late graduate immigration route will be further implemented by summer of 2021. So about the post-study work visa application requirements is actually further confirmed previously this month. So first, if you want to apply for the post-study work visa, so definitely you need to acquire a Tier 4 student visa. So this means because the route of application actually will open on 1st July 2021. So if you want to apply for this visa, you should have your Tier 4 student visa expires after this date. So this is the first criteria. And the second criteria is about a UK degree. So basically means you should have acquired. So you should already obtained this degree. So it should be above undergraduate degree or at undergraduate degree from a recognized UK higher education provider. And thirdly is actually about your background. You shouldn't have any criminal record, and your background should be clean. And fourthly is actually about the payment for this visa. So basically, when you apply for this visa, you need to have your graduate certificate or the letter from your university to allow you to apply for this visa. And definitely your visa should be within the range, and you need to provide certain evidence that you will be checked by the immigration officer. And in terms of the fee involved with this visa, so it's definitely the visa application fee. So according to past figures, it should be around 700 song, but it's not really been confirmed yet. So we can see the visa fee later on. But for the immigration health surcharge, so you should also need to pay for it for 2 years because you are applying for a 2-year visa. So basically, if you are a PhD student, you will be available to apply for 3 years. So then the HS fee should be 3 years, covering 3 years. Then with this visa, so what you can do with the graduate route visa? So first, you can definitely work or find a job in the UK for a maximum period of the visa covered. So as a 2 years for undergraduate or master student, or 3 years for the PhD students. So you will be able to use this visa to work or find a job in the UK. And in the meantime, you can definitely find a job and allow you to switch to the skilled worker type visa. You need to be aware of this part is basically because if under the graduate route visa, you cannot really use this one to apply for the UK residency because it's not really an allowed route. So basically, if you want to apply for the permanent residence in the UK, you still need to acquire for example, like a skilled worker type visa, then following the 5-year route, if your salary meet up the basic requirement and certain other requirements met up, then you can apply for the the permanent resident type visa. And thirdly, it's definitely you can use this visa to work for certain types of the jobs, also including self-employment. So self-employment means if you want to, for example, previously set up your business, if you want to do some innovation schemes in the UK later on, you can use this visa to do your market research, to do some self-employment work. And definitely you should be aware of one thing, is this type of visa you can only apply once in your whole lifetime. So for example, if you apply the visa this year, and then after the 2 years you do another master's or another PhD program, you will not be allowed to apply for the post-study work visa for a second chance. So you only allowed to use this right one time in your whole life. And what you need to be aware of is actually currently mainly in relation to the entry of the UK. So you need to be physically in the UK by 21st of June this year if you studies before January 2021, and your length is if you start your course by last year, and if your course began by January of this year, you will be eligible to come to the UK by 27th September. So be aware of the entry time, the entry date. So don't come to the UK after this date, because if you arrive in the UK after this date, you will not be allowed to apply for the post-study work visa. So also you need to be aware of your length of the study. So student on this course longer than 12 months will not be affected on their eligibility for the graduate route, because if you study remotely in the UK or overseas between the period of 24th January 2020 and 27th September 2021. So this is actually due to the influence by COVID-19. Okay, so actually typically in relation to the questions in relation to post-study work visa that we received from most of the students, is actually in relation to what kind of the job you can actually looking for. So we normally comparing skilled worker visa job opportunities to the post-study work visa related job. So if you're following the route, you definitely have certain criteria. So normally under the graduate route visa, so typically you will find like somehow if you want to find a job in relation with marketing field, HR field, or education, psychology, language related fields, or arts related field, you feel like it's a bit difficult to find an initial type of the role and the skilled worker type visa, because they definitely have certain requirements in terms of your skills level. So for students with this background, the post-study work visa can be your opportunity. And in terms of what kind of the job are typically available for you for different type of the visas. So if you want to follow the skilled worker type route, so definitely first you need to ensure you need to ensure to ranking the priority which industry you want to go into, because definitely the industries have been influenced by the pandemic on certain level. So for example, if you want to work in the UK and your priority is to gain the permanent residency in this country, then you still should focus on the key industries in the UK. For example, like the broadening financial industry, you can work for example, like Big Four. You can see if there's any opportunities with financial institutions, but definitely Big Four or Big Six professional services, they definitely are still the key sectors offering the most opportunities to international students, and they can deal with your application. They can deal with your permanent residence thoroughly comparing to other industries. However, for example, like other industry companies like FMCG industries, law industry, engineering industry, there are also a lot of companies they can deal with a visa. So the best route for students who graduated from UK is actually to following a very reasonable graduate route. So what does graduate route means? It means you should actually follow, for example, like the structured graduate scheme scheduled by the really top companies in the industry. Or alternatively, if you can check if the employer who hires you can actually provide you a sponsor later on if your post-study work visa expires. So so really you need to be careful about the plan, how long you would like to stay in the UK, and are you aiming for long-term staying, and also if the employer who hires you, they can sponsor you. But definitely this should be case by case. It varies from each other. So basically you need to be careful. And in terms with the post-study work visa related jobs, it actually mainly about your career motivation, because a lot of students, when they consult about the job opportunities with us, they have different purpose. So first, the purpose is definitely in relation to the skilled worker visa. It's actually they want a permanent residency in this country, or alternatively, they actually want to gain a very exceptional work experience from the developed country. For example, like they want to really have great experience to be gained in the UK, to learn more from the work experience, so that they can have further development on their career ladder. So if you follow this way, the way you should plan is you need to think over what you want to be, or what's your 5-year career plan. So if you think this ahead, then it should be exceptionally helpful for helping you to choose the job on the market. But always need to be aware of one thing is there are certain industries definitely were influenced by the COVID-19 situation, because the whole country locked down for a certain time of the period. So you need to really be aware of the industry you want to work for. Do you have the opportunity there? So if you don't have the opportunity, how you would like to plan your career, plan your first job in the market? Do you really still want to stay in the UK? And if you want to stay in the UK, what are the opportunities available, and what are these opportunities can offer you heading to if you actually entering into the industry, entering into the role provided in the UK market. So you really need to have very careful plan. And in terms of your job hunting guide, it's actually provided to students with different background. For example, if you are on your fresh year, so you still have like long term to plan how you would like to plan your career, and also see a similar story for the second year student. So our today's seminar is mainly to help students with let's say with the postgraduate study route. So it's actually in relation to how you would like to plan your career in terms of if you are going to apply for big company, if you're going to apply for small to medium-sized company, or actually you are positioning yourself to certain types of the vacancy. For example, if I purely want to work for HR field, if you purely want to follow in marketing route or any other route. So you need to determine yourself into certain fields to have very clear job positioning for yourself, and then you can follow the strategy. So normally if top companies application, or if really big graduate route application, normally you need to follow in online application and online test and the first round interview and final assessment center and final round interview, then you achieve the offer. Alternatively, if you follow small to medium-sized company or some typical creative type of the job role, you need to be aware of you probably have probation period. You need to follow, for example, 2 or 3 round interview. So if this is the key, so if this is the route you follow, then your CV and your motivational letter, your application letter will be critically important for you. So you need to compare what kind of the opportunity you're looking for in the market. So how should we plan our application in the UK? So first, you definitely need to understand the job application flow. So normally we actually follow the 6-step method, but definitely depends on if you follow in small to medium sized route, if you follow in graduate route, experience route, or small to medium sized route. So it can be varied, but normally there are 2 categories in the market. So the first category is basically what bankings and the top companies they follow. You apply online with your application form. You submit your CV, your cover letter, and you will be invited to the online test. And then thirdly, you will receive your video interview as your first round interview, and normally kind of like a business simulation test. And after that, you will receive your assessment center. So currently it's still virtual assessment center, but definitely it will come back to normal, to on-site assessment center. So it will be wise if you prepare both type of the assessment, both online and on-site, when it's available. So then it will be, for example, like your final round interview with the partners or directors, and then you will receive your final round interview, and then you will receive your letter, so your offer. Okay. If you apply, the second type of the application would be in relation with, let's say, how you actually plan your route. So it's kind of like in relation to a small to medium sized company, or some typical type of the roles in the market. For example, if you apply for experience level, so sometimes it's mainly you submit your CV, and in combination with a cover letter to the employer, and they know your motivation, they know how you match to their vacancy, and then they will invite you to several rounds of the interviews, normally with HR initially, and then you probably with your lab manager, and then finally you could have your final round interview. So this is normally the screening process and the interview process. And if you pass, you may have a probation period or an internship with the company first, and then you can have your fixed term or long-term contract with the employer. So it depends on which employer and what type of the industry you follow. But definitely before everything, you really need to conduct a really detailed analysis on yourself. So basically, you need to understand your strengths and your weaknesses, to understand yourself, and also to use the opportunities and threats analysis to the markets, and then you will understand how to position yourself into the UK market, so that you will be able to know where are your opportunities and how you can match into these opportunities available in the market. And then you will improve your chances. For example, if you apply for big companies, you definitely should have a big list or a tailored list for yourself. You need to understand what vacancies I'm going to apply to and what companies. And then your application strategy should be always surrounding your positioning list. Or alternatively, you can tell yourself, I'm going to apply for example, 3 types or 4 types of the vacancies. And then surrounding the vacancies, you can have different types of the CV, different types of the motivation letter to highlight your skills and strengths. Then you make application accordingly to different employers. So always have a tracking record to ensure yourself following the right strategy and right preparation process. And also definitely you need to find out what you can do and what you cannot do, both in relation to the jobs that you can do, the jobs you cannot do, and also in terms of the skills, what you can do and what you cannot do. And definitely you need to design your application strategy. So basically to be specifically by which time I should prepare my CV, by which time I should do really detailed research about the company, about the position, by which stage, what time period I should practice the online test. So you need to accordingly to really tackle each step's issue, following a really good time manner. And definitely if you want certain external help, you can choose, for example, like the coaching program that we offer. So we actually offer different range of the coaching program. So you can consult with us after this session today. So about the job hunting guide, we talk about the application process. So for the job positioning, it's definitely in relation with your SWOT analysis, in relation to your personal research, company and position research. And secondly, for your application form, it's mainly about your basically education and work background. You just input all your information into the application form, and you should have your tailored CV and cover letter. And for online test, it's actually in relation to different type of the test. So definitely you need to prepare step by step. So especially with post-study work visa, you will have a lot of opportunities in the market. So you shouldn't just randomly apply for different company. So if you have a very clear strategy that I'm applying for, let's say for example for big company at which stage, and for small company at which stage, and also gain certain badges or certificates to approve that you have the certain skills the company are looking for, that will be quite helpful, especially when you're applying for small to medium sized company in this market. So definitely, it's not just simply about numerical or verbal tests or situational judgment tests if you're applying for small employers. For example, if they require you to have Python skills, to have certain programming skills, you definitely need to have that skills so that you can implement that into the role you're going to do later on immediately, rather than kind of like improving using like couple months or half a year, because different employers, they will have different expectations on you. Especially with top employers, they probably give you certain time to allow you grow, but with small medium-sized employers, they may prefer you to have some transferable skills and some skills you can immediately implement into the job you're going to do with the employer. And for first round interview, so normally it will be telephone interview or video interview, but currently face-to-face interview, normally they will use the video meeting instead. So basically you need to prepare your competency questions, your technical questions, your commercial awareness questions. So it's certainly divided into stages. So you need to be aware of how to tackle each type of the questions. You need to prepare in advance. And for assessment center, it definitely varies from employers to employers, but if you apply for, let's say, graduate route vacancies, normally they will have an assessment center with you, even with some medium-sized employers in the UK, as long as it's a really typical type of the graduate scheme, because they say typical time for graduate entry level candidates that will be hired by the UK employer. They normally offering the graduate schemes. So you need to be aware of, especially pay attention to, for example, case interviews, case studies, to peer interviews and face-to-face interviews, because that will be typically important if your assessment tab is still virtual assessment center. And definitely for final round interview, that will be more practical and position oriented. So you need to tailor your strategy into the type of the roles you're going to apply to. And when involving with the job offer, if you are on post-study work visa, there are certain tips for you. So first, you need to be aware of if your employer can sponsor you later on, if you want to work long-term in the UK. And secondly, you need to pay attention to what you can achieve from this job. For example, if you can gain the experience, if you can gain the certain salary, allow you to live a life in the UK. And thirdly, it's actually in relation to your career ladder. So whether this work experience actually can really help you if you leave UK 2 years later. So really pay attention to the job offer, especially under the post-study work visa route, because it involves with your contract, it involves with your employment relationship, it involves with your benefits to gain in the UK from your employer, and also it in relation with your long-term career planning and a long-term stay in the UK. And normally for the application timeline, so if typically following, let's say, the top company route, it will be shown like the PowerPoint will show you here. But if you following, let's say, a typical route, that following, for example, like the small to medium sized companies or some other opportunities available in the market, so it's actually full year round. You should have the opportunity. It's just the different industries, they open the opportunities following different timeline. So you can consult with us if you want to apply for different let's say different positions or different industry. So we offer the free consultation for you. And in terms of how we can help, is actually we cover all the helps from your CV, application form, and cover letter, and even including your online aptitude test, your interview and assessment center. So basically, we just give you some further information about how to deal with your post-study work visa. So a lot of students, they ask the questions that, for example, like with post-study work visa, whether I can apply for a job after I acquire this visa, or if I can actually start my application now. So you need to understand, Tier 4 student visa already allows you to apply a job in the UK. So before you make any application or acquire this post-study work visa, you already have the right to apply for your apply for the job after your graduation. So if you already have this plan, you want to work in the UK, then you should start this process as soon as possible, especially currently the market is a bit in pressure. So basically means you have like limited job opportunities in this market. So definitely you need to prepare in advance. And secondly, if you acquire that visa already, you still have the right to look for the opportunities in the market, but you need to calculate with that visa if within the 2-year or 3-year range already. It means you have like limited time to work for the employer you're going to work with. So always is a very wise choice if you apply a job and can confirm a job before you get that post-study work visa, because you can work for that company longer, you will have longer time to secure your long-term stay in the UK. So you really need to plan ahead. And if you have any further questions, you can always consult with us. And we definitely offer a different range of post-study work visa help. So if you are aiming for example, if you aim for, let's say, top companies in the UK, whether in any industry, in FMCG industry, in professional services, banking, law, engineering, or any other industries, you can choose our post-study work visa, post-study work job offer guarantee program, because we will deliver you to the top companies. However, if you just want, for example, gain work experience in the UK and you still not really have a chance to make your decision whether I want to stay in the UK for long term, then you can follow our My Post-Study Work Visa, My PSW program, because that will just cost you, for example, like £300. Then you can have all the CV helps, application helps to apply for a job in the UK, and also we provide you consultative advices on how to acquire this type of visa. Okay, so you can definitely register us following the link, and also you can register with our My PSW program as well. So we offer you like a range of the services. Yeah. Okay, so basically this is for our today's seminar. So do you have any questions? You can actually leave into the chat box. Okay, so we receive questions from Osman. So yes, you are eligible to apply for this type of graduate visa because your visa expires after, let's say, 1st July 2021. So you can apply once you achieve your latest, let's say, degree certificate from your university. Do I answer your question? Okay. Unfortunately, no. So if you are following the 10 years route, it should be okay, but you cannot apply for the permanent resident using post-study work visa. So for example, if you want to apply following the 5-year route, no, it's not eligible. It's not really counting. So the typical ways, let me just clarify the situation for a lot of you. So the situation that you can gain a permanent resident in the UK, the first route is the originally 10 years route. So you can counting into any years that as long as you stay in the UK for 10 years and your the time you stay in this country meet up certain criteria, then you will be eligible to apply for the 10 years route permanent residency. And the second route is the typical 5-year skilled worker route. So currently it's the skilled worker visa route. So for example, if you just stay in the UK for example 2 years or 3 years, it's actually wise for you to follow the skilled worker type visa because 5 years is more guaranteed. And the third route is more in relation to the investing route. For example, you can use the innovator visa to use 3 years to apply for the permanent residency, or alternatively you can use startup visa and then following the innovator route to apply for the permanent residency. So the post-study work visa is quite similar to the startup visa. It's only 2 years and you cannot apply for a second chance, and you cannot use it to apply for the permanent residency in the UK. So we will open this Q&A session for another 15 minutes. So you can comment in this live chat. So basically, if you have any further questions after this stream, you can always send an email to us. Our email address is info@koreainteractive.org. So but you still have the opportunities to ask any questions with us. if being an undergraduate student, it's actually more, let's say it's actually safer for you if you follow in the 5-year route, because we don't know if UK will always follow the 10 years residency application rule. But definitely the 5-year rule is a permanent residence application route that offered by UK government. So basically, it's the immigration office of Great Britain. They offer this route to all the candidates. So we definitely can confirm that this 5-year route, let's say for long term, it won't be cancelled. But for the 10 years route, we cannot guarantee that if it will still exist, like after a couple of years later, because definitely Brexit already happened. So you really need to be careful if you want to follow the 10 years route. But definitely it depends on how long you've already stayed in the UK, Osman. So if you have, for example, if you really have any detailed questions, you can email us. So I've already gave you the email address. So if you send the email, we can have a free one-to-one session to solve your issue individually. Okay, so we have another question from ACAT, right? Okay, so basically, the skilled worker visa and the post-study work visa, they actually have a lot of difference. So first, for skilled worker visa, you can only work for one employer because you are sponsored by that employer on a typical type of the job, so you are restricted to work. But for post-study work visa, it's actually the visa acquired on your own. It's not really in relation with any employers who hire you. So basically with post-study work visa, you can work for whoever you want to work for. Even you want to work for yourself, you can. Okay, it's about self-employment. So this is the first difference. It's actually in relation to who you can work for. And secondly, it's actually in relation with if you can apply for the permanent resident job in the UK. So for skilled worker visa, it's a guaranteed 5 years route. So as long as you work for 5 years and your salary meet up the minimum requirement from the immigration office, then you will be available to apply for the permanent residency in the UK. But with post-study work visa, you are only allowed to work 2 years for master or undergraduate student, 3 years for PhD students. But after this time being, you are not really allowed to work in the UK anymore. So they have restrictions on the working time you can stay in the UK. For skilled worker visa, you can work as long as you wish. So for example, reaching to the 7th years or 8th years, you don't really want to apply for the permanent residence in the UK. You can still work under that visa. It's not really restricted to you as long as an employer would like to hire you under that visa. But with post-study work visa, no, you can't. So it's actually another difference with the permanent residency. And thirdly, it's actually about the questions after that is you ask whether post-study visa could turn to the skilled worker visa. Yes, post-study work visa allows you to turn into the skilled worker visa. This actually is a third difference between the two types of visa, because you cannot switch to post-study work visa after skilled worker visa. But with post-study work visa, you can turn it into the skilled worker visa. The criteria is you need to find an employer who would like to hire you on the vacancy. So the main difference between these two types of visa are these three differences. So I'm not sure if I answer your questions. So do you have any further questions you would like to ask me? Okay, yeah, please just ask me. No worries. Sorry, as worry. I'm not sure about the question you're asking. So what do you mean by is it okay to put the non-technical 20 hours work, which we are doing? So you mean you work for example, like you do part-time using this one, or anything else? As worry, would you like to explain your question further? I'll just further. Okay. Mm, okay. Would you mind to send me an individual kind of like email to me for ACAT-G, okay? Because the difference between okay, all right. So okay, skilled worker visa and tier 2 visa. So tier 2 visa is the previous type visa. So skilled worker visa and tier 2 visa, they are actually the same type of the visa. So previously the name is tier 2 visa, and later on the visa name changed to skilled worker visa. So they are the same visa. Okay. You can definitely put the part-time job experience. So I'm answering the question from Aswari, okay? So you can definitely put the part-time job experience like McDonald's or KFC on your CV. It doesn't matter, but you need to be aware of one thing: what kind of the transferable skills you would like to show to the employer. So if it's not really necessary, then it's not really necessary for you to put that experience. But for example, if you don't really have much work experience back to your schooling time in your home country or back to previous years, then you can put that, because I can show you, for example, teamwork skills or at least communication skills. So it really depends on your background and what type of the job you're going to apply to. It's not restricted that you have to or you must put your part-time experience there, but it really depends on if you have enough experience to show your transferable skills to the employer, and also depending on, let's say, what kind of the job you are applying to. No worries. Thank you. Thank you. Sure. Any other questions you have? So if you don't have any further question, we will close this stream in 5 minutes. So I'm not sure, like for the listeners, do you what kind of, let's say, what kind of the course you study, like what kind of the job you're looking for? sure, Osman. We have received your email, and I will reply you after today's session. Okay? And thank you for the email. You will receive your CV feedback. Definitely, you will receive it. No problem. Okay, so this is for our today's session. Thank you for all listening to our today's live stream. So if you have any further questions, you can always email us. We are here to offer you further advices, tailored advices. So basically, the personalized one-to-one consultation is free. So if you have any further questions or if you feel confused how to do your job positioning in the UK, you can always contact us. Thank you all for attending our today's session and hope you have a great afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.